Stop the nonsense. Back again like we never left. Episode 5. Let's see. Joe DiMaggio, Nick Lidstrom, Jason Kidd. Am I missing anybody?
Dan Girardi.
Albert Pujols, Johnny Bench, Kevin Garnett, the big ticket. Lots of good number 5s. And hopefully this will be a great number 5. Let's dive into the biggest story post-Super Bowl. You know, there's always this lull after the Super Bowl before baseball starts where there's nothing going on. And hockey had like their All-Star weekend right before it. I don't know. It hasn't been a lot of interesting things. But Kareem Hunt, we told you. We told you he'd get another chance. And he has already signed with the Cleveland Browns. Did not think he would sign before Machado and Harper, I'll say that much.
No.
But him signing with the Browns has already stirred up again the Colin Kaepernick narrative of why can't he get a job? And I get it. I get why that happens. I get why people bring it up. Because Kaepernick's good enough to be a backup in the NFL. You know what annoys me about the narrative? Is people keep going, well, you know, he led a team to the Super Bowl. Yeah, that's 7 years ago now. 7 years ago. Like he was not that quarterback anymore. Okay, he lost his job to Blaine Gabbert. So let's not forget that. But he should be in the league. But here's the thing, he won't be. He won't be. I don't know why that people continue to bring it up because he's not going to be in the league.
No. What has he been on, a 4-year layoff now?
It's been a while. I couldn't even tell you the exact year. But he also did things. He would have been a Raven, but then he had his girlfriend tweeting the things out, comparing the owner of the Ravens to a slave owner and all this. So
can't do that.
You ruin your opportunity there. And I get the outrage of Kareem Hunt getting another job and Kaepernick can't, because then you get, Kareem Hunt, the idea of what went down with him in the hotel where he was seen shoving and then ultimately kicking a woman who I don't even think we ever got the full story of how they knew each other, of what was going on there.
I don't know.
But guys like Greg Hardy, who got a second chance in the NFL.
Throwing bitches on beds of rifles.
Yeah, that was that story. If you haven't read that Deadspin article about what he did, my God, just disgusting what he was.
And now he's out here
accused
kneeing people in the head in the UFC.
In the UFC, yeah. And
getting co-main events handed to him. Joke.
Yeah, he didn't really, he didn't earn that.
No.
It was just given to him.
That annoyed me a lot.
And then he got disqualified.
Yeah, because they need a guy in the head illegally.
But he seems to be that type of human being who does things like that. Dante Stallworth.
He killed a man.
Yeah. I always have a problem with
vehicular
this word.
Manslaughter?
Thank you.
He got you.
Thank you. I can't say it. But, yeah, he was guilty of that. He was convicted, and then he got another chance in the NFL.
Didn't he go to the Browns, actually? Didn't he get a second chance with the Browns?
I believe he did. Coincidentally. But Kareem Hunt, he's gonna help their team. He's a good running back, and they also have Nick Chubb.
Yeah, that's a good combo.
It's a very good combo. They got a new head coach over there, Freddie Kitchens, who did a great job as the offensive coordinator. The Browns are going to be interesting. They're going to be an interesting story next year, and because Baker Mayfield is that dude.
He is that dude. I love that guy.
I got to tell you, I've been I've had people tell me, "Oh, you think you're always right," and I don't think it's that I think I'm always right. I just like being right a lot, and I was wrong on Baker Mayfield. I didn't think he was going to be a great NFL quarterback, but all I needed was 1 year to see that, you know what, this guy can play at this level, at a very high level, be it. So, let's, I want to transition to baseball, and to do so, we'll bring up Kyler Murray. Because Kyler Murray has chosen to go all in with the NFL, which kills the Oakland A's, because they used I believe, the 10th overall pick on him. And they expected him to be in training camp, and obviously, spring training, he's not there. and he's going to be a part of the upcoming NFL draft. He's going to be a high pick. I mean, he's the Heisman Trophy, played in Oklahoma, Heisman Trophy winner.
Mel Kiper has him at 13 right now for the
At 13
Dolphins.
for the Dolphins, I could see that. There were whispers early on, which have since passed, about the Giants going after him. That's gone away, which you do not want to use a pick that high on a 5'8" quarterback behind that offensive line. I just can't see that happening.
Wouldn't be smart.
No, and he was obviously Cliff Kingsbury in Arizona is now the head coach there. Has said before that Kyler Murray,
he would take him number one. That's what he said.
Man, can you take him number one?
No,
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
And I'm a believer in Josh Rosen.
I mean,
I know he didn't.
If Kingsbury wants to take Murray number one and trade Rosen to the Giants,
that would be a great move for the Giants.
I'd be pretty amped. Would not be mad.
Rosen was the guy I felt the Giants should have taken second overall. You can't argue with Saquon, but you can argue with the wins total, and you're going to need a quarterback to improve on that. And I like Josh Rosen. I like him a lot. I think he can make all the throws, and I know they had a terrible year. That team was awful.
Yeah.
The team was terrible. You had David Johnson coming off of surgery. Wasn't exactly himself. He had a couple of solid games, but he wasn't the David Johnson we became accustomed to.
Mm-hmm.
Larry Fitzgerald, still productive, but he's getting up there. He's coming back.
I know.
Back for another year.
One more year.
We've been saying that for a couple of years now. One more year.
Feels like it's been the last half of this decade.
He
keeps coming back.
Great. How can you not like Larry Legend?
It's hard not to like that guy.
So the NFL's gain is the Oakland A's loss, as spring training has opened across the country. Bunch of pitchers and catchers have been reporting. And the MLB proposed a lot of rule changes. Then I don't think any of them are happening this year. Here's a couple of them. They proposed a 3-pitch minimum for pitchers who come out of the bullpen. So a pitching change, got to throw at least 3. Is it 3 pitches or 3 batters? I wrote down 3-pitch minimum, but that sounds wrong.
Do a little fact check on that.
Okay, take a look at that. I'll go down the other ones. The universal DH, which I am a big fan of.
Me too.
A 20-second pitch clock. I don't know. I think haven't they had something like that, but they just never enforce it. Like, you're supposed to get rid of the ball in a certain amount of time. They just don't enforce it. An expansion of the rosters to 26 men as opposed to 25 with a 12-pitcher max. I don't really get this one. I don't get the benefit of that.
I don't know.
And here's the one that I am vehemently against. Lowering the mound. Absolutely not. The mound was lowered back in 1968 because pitchers were so dominant. Okay? In 1968, Bob Gibson had an ERA of 1.12. Carl Yastrzemski won the batting title with a 301 average.
It is 3 batter minimum.
3 batter minimum. So
which is I don't know. I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I wrote 3 pitch, and that was just like, no, that can't be right. But so 1968, Gibson 1.12 ERA. Carl Yastrzemski won the batting title with a 301 average, and 7 teams hit 230 or lower. So there was clear reason to lower the mound. Today's game, how many home runs are hit every game? It's absurd. The Yankees just set the record last year for most home runs hit by a team in a single season, and they didn't have Aaron Judge for almost 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
Gary Sanchez hit 188 and was out quite often. They could break that record again this year if they're healthy. Plenty of home runs are being hit.
I mean, they should break the record again.
Yeah, I mean, if they're healthy, that's what it comes down to. Because I think Stanton's going to have a better year. If you have Judge for a full year, he is going to hit around 40. Sanchez could hit over 30 if he's healthy. Glaber and Andujar for full years with a year under their belt. A lot of firepower on that Yankee offense. But the universal DH, do not lower the mound. That's what I'm saying here. Do not lower the mound. We have enough offense. But the universal DH, I think, is something I've been saying the game needs for 5-6 years already. And people who are fans of National League teams are always like, no. It's pure baseball. No, we don't want it. Why? Why? The thrill of the double switch? Is that so
I
exhilarating?
mean, that gets me on the edge of my seat every game.
I can't wait.
I love the double switch.
Can't wait. Oh my God, he's gonna keep the other guy in. They're gonna move the position. Who cares? You know what I like? I like offense, and everybody likes offense. So forget lowering the mound. Don't you dare do that. Put in the universal DH. That will help out. You get a good DH in there, you're gonna get more production in like a month and a half from a regular DH than you will from your pitching staff all year, in most cases. Unless you're the Giants, because Madison Bumgarner can rake.
Yeah.
But those are a couple of changes. I don't think any of them are coming to be. They already said the universal DH will not be a part of this year.
Mm-hmm.
The 3-batter minimum is interesting. I don't love it, but I always felt it should be, a 1-batter minimum, because sometimes you have them, they call a guy in,
Mm-hmm.
and then they'll call up a pinch hitter, and then they'll go take the guy out, which is ridiculous. The back and forth there.
Yeah. It's all mind games.
It is, and I think it's a lot of it. I personally think is overrated. I get matchups, but
Yeah.
if you're a good player, you're a good player. If you're a great pitcher, you can get guys out, lefty or righty. If you're a good hitter, you can hit lefties or righties. That's how I feel. There are guys who are platoon players, but those guys aren't your stars. So with that, JT Realmuto was finally moved.
He was.
It took some time. He was moved in the same division to the Philadelphia Phillies. The NL East is going to be fun to watch this year.
Does that move make the Phillies the favorite right now, you think? Or
I don't know.
Or do you still think the Nationals have them?
I mean, you got the Nationals. I think I don't want to tip my hand, because we will do a baseball preview show where we'll pick our division winners and our postseason. I like doing that stuff. That's fun. We'll pick our MVPs, all that. I like what the Mets have done.
Yeah.
Of course, it's always disclaimered if they're healthy, and they never seem to be healthy.
Big disclaimer for them.
Yeah, and the Braves are still good.
Oh, I think the Braves are good too, but I don't know. I think I would still put the Phillies and the Nats above the Braves as of right now.
Even without Harper in Washington,
That rotation.
it is a great rotation.
Yeah, that's why.
You're going Scherzer, Strasburg, and what's his name who signed there? I'm drawing a blank.
Corbin.
There you go. Who the Yankees wanted. We all thought he was going to the Yankees. Didn't happen.
That's all right. I'll take Paxton.
I'm very happy with Paxton. Paxton's kind of... People are forgetting about Paxton. I think because it happened so early on.
Mm-hmm.
But
Short-term memory.
Yeah, Paxton's a guy who... He could potentially win the Cy Young.
He could.
He's got that kind of stuff. But, so with Realmuto going to Philly, still waiting to see if Philly will grab one of these high-priced free agents. They seem to think that they're definitely getting one. I don't know how you can feel that way with how this free agency has gone. But, the Marlins continue to be an absolute dumpster fire, as they have so low. You go back 2 years, the Marlins had JT Realmuto, Giancarlo Stanton, Christian Yelich,
Marcell
Ozuna. You would think, hey, that's a great core to move forward with. Nope. And if not for the tragedy, they would have had Jose Fernandez still.
Yeah.
Who was unbelievable.
Filthy.
I love that guy. Rest in peace, Jose. But that's pretty much it on baseball, because we're going to soon, maybe next week, we'll have an episode where we can talk about the free agent signings. I don't want to talk about it until it happens, because it's so stupid. Nobody knows what's going on. It's just dragged on and on and on and on.
It's just recycled report after recycled report after recycled report.
And none of it gets anywhere.
It's basically this MLB free agent, like off season. It's basically watching the Christmas Story marathon on Christmas Day. It's the same. It's the same thing every 2 hours.
I always have to watch it once every year.
Once is fine, but I mean, if you sit there like 6 hours straight watching the same thing, I mean,
no, it's a little crazy.
You got a life. There's basketball on and shit.
And speaking of basketball, Russell Westbrook broke the record. 10 straight triple-doubles.
He did. He's decent, as a man
I was just
must have
I was
said.
just gonna go there. We have a buddy who once referred to Russell Westbrook as decent,
Yeah.
and
He's not that good of a point guard. He's decent.
he's decent. Yeah, we love you, pal. We know you'll be listening. The funny thing about that too is like it was the year after he said that he went on to average a triple double.
Didn't he win MVP that year, I think?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he
It
went
was
on.
great.
He said it, and we were like, "What the hell are you talking about?" Decent. Okay, let's move into your favorite sport real quick, because the MMA had another what was it, UFC 234?
Yep.
34.
Supposed to be in Australia. We're supposed to have the middleweight title on the line between Robert Whittaker and Kelvin Gastelum. And Whittaker dropped out of the fight 12 hours before the card was about to start with a hernia. Made weigh-ins and everything. Could you imagine? And they
How
still
did he get it?
Huh?
How did he get it?
I
Like,
think
was
he
he?
had it already and they knew about it, but I guess I don't even know. I didn't really read into it too much because I was just like, wow, I'm like a good fight and I'm like we're not gonna be able to watch it.
That's the tough thing about it.
That card immediately turned into dog shit.
This always happens in the UFC. I feel
Yeah.
like you don't see that happen in boxing, where like there's a big fight coming up and then no, he's hurt. Like, do they just train too hard?
I think so.
They push themselves too much before the fight.
And it's mostly the same guys over and over again.
Yeah,
Which is
we're
annoying.
dealing with these things. But
yeah.
you had was that Anderson Silva? Some people were speculating that could have been his last fight.
Nah, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Nah.
How old is he? 41.
I think 42.
40, wow. If I have 1/45th the athleticism at 42 that Anderson Silva has, I'll consider myself lucky. That man can still move.
He looked like vintage Silva for a second. He was doing his little bob and weaving, shimmying, taunting, fucking
Adesanya,
yeah.
Adesanya.
I drew a blank on his name for a second. Well,
Yeah,
Adesanya is very good for people that don't know about him.
That's what I've been hearing.
Very good.
Maybe I was just. I know
Undefeated.
Silva was a legend. He's 16-0 now, right? Correct.
Yes.
Or 15-0.
16.
He and it's kind of all right. I have like
Silva's
40
actually
different thoughts going
43, and he'll be turning 44 in 2 months.
on. Wow, and he's still planning on fighting.
Yeah,
I mean, hey, he can still move.
he could. It was an entertaining fight because they're both they got some flurries in on each other once in a while, but I mean it was fun to watch Silva be cocky Silva. He was literally standing in the corner of the cage there in the second round with his hands at his side, telling Adesanya
I saw him when
to
he was
throw
like
at him.
pointing to the ground.
Yes.
Like, come here. Yeah.
It was awesome. I love when Silva does that. People hate it, but I love it. It's great.
Is he the best fighter of all time?
He's up there.
I mean, when he was in his prime, I remember going back to we're going back to the Packers Super Bowl 45. So this is 2010. When we showed up, I watched that game at a buddy's house of mine, and when we got there, there had been fights the night before, and Anderson Silva was one of them, and we were talking about it and how great Silva is, and somebody was like, "How do you fight him?" And one of my friends goes, "You hop out of the octagon and you run and beg for forgiveness."
Yeah,
because that's how you fight him.
He was lethal from everywhere.
Unbelievable.
Everywhere.
And then he had that gruesome injury with
Chris Weidman.
Yeah,
checking his leg kick, which was planned. Weidman's team planned for that. Yeah.
And oh my goodness, that thing snapped, and then he tried to plant it, and that I couldn't imagine trying to just like plant your foot.
Oh.
And it's just not there. Like it's just
bad.
a flab of skin. Oh, that was gross.
And he came back, and he's been fighting for another 4 years after that, which is crazy.
Yeah. Has he won recently? I know he's lost like the last 2.
He's won here or there. He's been like back and forth, but he won his last fight against Derek Brunson, but that was UFC 208.
Okay.
Was the last time he fought. So that was last February. So he's basically fighting like once every year right now.
Once a year.
Yeah.
I mean, if he could still do it,
Yeah, he's gone downhill ever since the Weidman fights. Because he lost to Weidman twice. Him and Nick Diaz, he originally won. He won that fight originally. But they called it a no contest because Diaz tested for positive for marijuana, and that's when Silva popped for PEDs. So they ruled that no contest. Michael Bisping beat him when Michael Bisping was on his run to win the middleweight title, and then he lost to Cormier, and then he fought Derek Brunson. So,
all right. Well, I've watching guys react to him like after their fights. It's kind of like he's got that Mariano Rivera respect.
100%.
Like he's just the reverence for him around the sport is pretty cool to see.
Mm-hmm.
And he's earned it.
Oh, definitely. He's one of the best. He is one of the best.
So good for him. Keep on chugging at 43 years old.
Yeah, he's gonna be 44. I mean, I think he'll fight maybe one or two more times. I'm sure he wants to go out on a win.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
So, there's not really a lot going on. I searched high and low to try to find things to talk about this podcast. I really did.
The Knicks lost a franchise record 17th straight game last night.
We could talk about that. Want to talk about the Knicks? I didn't think you'd want to.
I mean, it was a win-win for the Knicks last night. They lost to the Cavs. So the Cavs get another win on their record.
One of the kids in my class had money on it, too. He took the Cavs minus the 1.5.
There you go. You won some money.
No, they won by 1, didn't they?
No, I could have swore they won by like 4.
Oh, I thought that he was flipping out that he lost the bet.
I don't know. I could have swore the Cavs won by more than 1. It was close. I know it was close towards the end, but I thought they pulled away. I
can tell you right now. But as far as the basketball goes, 107, 104. What was he yelling about?
I don't know.
Who knows? Maybe he just doesn't know how gambling works.
Yeah, maybe not.
But my Nets lost also to Toronto. Hit the skids recently. Because Karis LeVert came back.
I heard about that.
So you gotta find. It's kind of like upset the rotation a little bit. Although I mean they lost to Toronto. It's not like they lost to a bad team. And Joe Harris had 22 points in the first half. Hit 7 3-pointers. But they a couple of losses recently. You gotta find a way to work him in because he's so talented.
Mm-hmm.
And he's coming off of that injury. You gotta. Sometimes it takes a little while to re-engage the whole team and get the chemistry going. But as far as me, my mind is already. I'm all in on baseball because basketball doesn't start until the playoffs for me. Because it's just first of all, we all know who's winning the championship.
Mm-hmm.
The Warriors will win the championship since DeMarcus Cousins has come back. They look like they're unbeatable again. So there's no reason to even debate that, in my opinion.
I just want to see who comes out of the East.
Before the season, I thought it would be the Celtics, but they seem to have a lot of chemistry issues right now.
Kyrie's knee fucked up again.
Yep. So I'm thinking
it's got to be Toronto or Philly.
Or Philly. Yeah. I would love to see Philly get there.
I mean, Tobias Harris is going to help big time.
That annoyed me, man. Tobias Harris, I saw as a guy who the Nets could go out and sign next year, but now that he's with Philly, he's staying there. I don't think he's going anywhere.
Yeah, because I mean that basically put him at top dog for the East, in my opinion.
I mean, they can, if they overtake Toronto, then
I think they will. I mean, Toronto went out and got Marc Gasol, and Jeremy Lin's gonna sign with them too. That came out today.
Screw that guy.
Because he got bought out by the Hawks.
He should get bought out by everybody.
He should.
Freaking sign him, and he doesn't play a game.
And his Canner got bought out by the Knicks. Hallelujah.
Happy day for you.
I fucking hate that guy.
Oh, we forgot about Milwaukee. Milwaukee's the number 1 seed right now.
Yeah, Giannis. Filthy.
He's something special. I will say Indiana, which is currently the 3rd seed, with Oladipo going down, I think they're going to start to fall in those in the East because you've got Toronto's 1 game behind Milwaukee, and then Indiana's 4.5 behind them. And I think Philly will end up getting the 2 or the 3 seed, and then you're playing Detroit or Charlotte. Man, these teams at the bottom of the East are
Kemba
so
Walker,
bad.
man.
They're so bad. Yo, he's turned into a really really good
I
player.
live for Kemba Walker. I love that guy.
All about cardiac Kemba.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of him in UConn. I was rooting for UConn when Kemba was there.
That was a fun run.
Yeah.
March Madness is coming up soon.
It is. One of my favorite times of the year.
Should we do a bracket challenge?
We could.
I mean, you know what? We
fun.
could, but that would be it'd be fun. I think what we would only be able to do is we come on here, we talk about who we got going to the Final Four, because we're not going to cheese it. We're not going to come on here and act like we're college basketball experts.
No.
You know, we're
I
not.
mean, I know good teams and bad teams, but
That's true, but maybe you could. I can't start breaking down college basketball and be like, well, this coach, unless we're talking about Tom Izzo, because I love Tom Izzo. I think Tom Izzo is an incredible coach.
mm-hmm.
But I can't come on here and start talking about college basketball the way I talk about the NFL or Major League Baseball or even hockey at that stand. When's the hockey trade deadline?
February. It's the end of the month. I'll double check on that. I want to say the 21st, but I think I'm wrong.
Yeah, we got
I went to
a
go.
lot of whispers.
I went to go Google, and I was talking out loud, and I Googled February 21st. It's good stuff. February 25th.
25th. Okay.
Yeah, so
I know
2 weeks.
Panarin came out and already told them I'm testing free agency. So he's
Welcome
not
to
going to
New
extend
York.
with them. I hope.
Me too.
I really hope so. And I hope that Kevin Hayes and Mika Zibanejad are here to play with him.
Yeah.
But
What do you think the return for Zook's going to be?
I can't see it being that great. He hasn't had a good year.
He's been hot
playing-
the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, he's
It's gonna
playing
help.
better of late. I mean, I'd be thrilled with like a second round pick, to be honest.
It's gonna be. I think we'll get more than that.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think they're gonna get a king's ransom for him, but
No, he's not worth it.
I
mean,
can
he's
see.
nice-
I can see maybe
nice
a
player.
first and a prospect or two, maybe. Never know. We'll see.
I hope you're right. And then we get to watch all the people on Twitter cry about the fact that
Yeah.
Zook was traded.
Don't get me wrong. I love Zook, but
Of course we do, but it's a business.
it is. People gotta know that.
It's like when the Yankees sold at the deadline a couple years ago, trading Chapman and Miller. Miller was my favorite Yankee.
Yeah,
I still love Andrew Miller.
yeah. It's hard not to. Great guy.
But you know what? It's a business, and the Yankees went out and they made that trade. And Clint Frazier is healthy.
I can't
looking-
wait.
He's looking to grab that outfield spot.
I cannot wait. I'm so excited.
How disappointing is it that he hates the nickname Red Thunder?
I know. I saw that.
That's not cool.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's not cool.
We'll figure out something
But-
else for you, Clint.
Lion.
Eh,
He looks like a lion with his hair. I don't know. It's not good. I'm just spitballing here.
yeah, I don't know.
But they made that trade. They got Clint Frazier and Justice Sheffield, and then they moved Sheffield to Seattle as part
For
of the
Paxton.
Paxton deal.
I mean, here's my outlook on it. Obviously, most of these trades are putting your team in a better position to win in the future and build something better than what they currently have.
They weren't winning a championship that year, and they
No.
actually got better because that was when Sanchez got called up and hit 20 home runs in
Yeah.
50-something games.
Yeah, but like that's the thing. Like you want to see your team making moves to build towards the future.
And improve. I
Yeah.
mean, some of us want to see that. I feel like some just don't care.
Yeah,
They
it's
just wanna
it's okay
complain.
to be a fan of a player, but like you can't be all up in arms when the team decides to move on from him. Like
You know what's? I've never brought this up before. Like we've talked about where we'll both go back and forth and say, oh well, fans are stupid. I believe one of the worst things I've ever done in my life is joining the Rangers and Yankees Facebook groups because, good God,
they're
this stuff.
I just do it for entertainment. It's so funny.
Oh my God! Yesterday, like somebody asked in that group, who's the best double play combination you've ever seen, and somebody was like Jeter and Cano, no doubt. And I was like, what? You don't watch baseball?
No.
I was like, this is Omar Vizquel and Robbie Alomar, and it's not even close what those two did as a double play combination. And one guy was like, yeah, that's true, out of the hundreds that commented on it. But
Because what it is, it's fan of a team and then fan of the sport.
yeah,
That's what it comes down to every time.
As you know, I'm a fan of the sports.
Of course.
I mean, I've got my teams, but I
You
don't
can give
understand.
credit to other players that are not on your
Yes,
team. That's what people don't
like
understand.
we both love the Rangers, but we could sit there and also love watching Connor McDavid play hockey
Of
because we
course.
know of other. Like, I don't get the idea of let me live in my little bubble here and only watch my team. I mean, it's just you don't know the game when you approach sports that way. You think you don't know what's out there. That's why you flip out when Stu Bickle gets waived. But what I was going to say is we talk about these fans, and Rick Riley had a column in Sports Illustrated once. It was one of his last columns, I believe. I don't know if he started writing again, but this was years and years ago. I was a kid. My grandfather, God rest his soul, used to pay for me to get Sports Illustrated every week, except for the swimsuit issue.
What a shame.
Thanks. Anyway, so in the article, he had a bunch of bullet points of things that he had learned over the years of attending sporting events and being a sports writer. And one of the bullet points was the angriest fans are angry before the game starts.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is so true that the people who get the most mad and who scream the loudest and are so critical, they're just miserable people. And they don't know what they're watching, so they just get mad when it doesn't go their way. Like, I truly believe that. I mean, I remember we were at the Garden for a Ranger game one night, and in the intermission, I'm online waiting to get my chicken tenders with waffle fries because those things are amazing. And this guy behind me says something, and so I look at him and he makes eye contact and he goes, "Got a freaking $8 million backup goalie in the net." I'm like, all right, I have no interest in talking to you because you have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And that guy was probably angry when he got to the game. He was probably miserable on the commute.
He was angry when he woke up.
Got to go to the game today.
Yeah.
Get on a train.
Overpaid pieces of shit.
It's ridiculous. Like, don't watch.
Yeah.
It's like I said about the Super Bowl. If you found it boring, turn it off.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have
Change
to
the
watch.
channel.
There's a lot of freedom in this country. Use it.
Yeah, I don't even know. People are fucking...
Boy, we went off on a tangent.
People are stupid.
We just totally basement yarded that. Shout out to the Basement Yard, one of my favorite podcasts.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
It's great stuff. But I think that's about it. As we approach baseball season, we will, I'd say probably the week right before the season, we'll do our baseball preview episode.
Yeah, that works.
That's one of my favorite things to do.
I'm excited. I can't wait for baseball.
I just want to be at the stadium. I can't wait. Also, I'm not going to opening day this year.
Did you go? Yeah, you went last year.
I went last year. Me and Mike had a tradition when he was living here in New York where we would go to opening day. What did we do it 3 years in a row?
I think 3.
And the last one we did was when your boy Michael Pineda
Pineda
almost threw a perfect game.
What did he get into the 6th inning? I think he got into the 6th.
No, he got into the 7th because it was Longoria who broke it up. He was 7 outs away.
Yeah.
Because it was the 7th inning, and I looked at you and I said, if he gets Longoria, there's a chance this may happen.
Yep. And I said he's doing this out of spite because I'm here. This is strictly due to spite.
Mike hated Michael Pineda.
He found my social media profiles and he said, "Oh, the guy that hates me the most in this city is coming to the game today. Let me just fucking throw my dick out on the mound and just pitch out of my mind for the first time ever."
Unbelievable. Like, they couldn't touch him. And then he hung a slider to Longo, and Longo just ripped it down the left field line.
And I said, thank God. I was so relieved. I don't think I could have dealt with him pitching a perfect game and me being in attendance for it.
After every, like, and it wasn't like he was just getting, ground ball. He was dominating. What did he have, 11 strikeouts?
He was getting a lot of swings and misses.
With every strikeout to end an inning, I would just look at you and you're like, I don't even know what's going on. What is going on today?
It felt like I was living in a nightmare for a second. I didn't even think I woke up. I thought I was like at home still laying in bed just dreaming.
And it was beautiful weather.
It was
like 65, 70 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of the reason why I'm not going this year. Because I'm sick of sitting there in 30-degree weather.
Well,
and last year was miserable.
That was like the one when we went to Houston. The Houston opening day. And
but
fucking...
That wasn't terrible.
It was
I mean,
pretty cold though.
It was cold.
Yeah.
It was cold. And we should have won that game, but Dylan Betances threw one of the worst throws you'll ever see to first base and threw it over, who was the first baseman then? I don't remember. But threw it over his head, and they lost to Houston.
It wasn't Teixeira's though, was it?
It might have been. I think it was. Yeah, that was Teixeira's last year. It was 15. I think it was 15. So they last year was rainy and freezing, and they didn't even announce the starting lineups. They didn't even introduce them
because they didn't want them standing out in the field and rained on.
And it was a delay. It was miserable, and I was like, I don't think I want to do this again. And also, as part of, was it our anniversary? Yeah, our anniversary gift. My girlfriend got us tickets to Tom Segura and that happens to be on opening day. So I'll get to watch the game and then go see Tom Segura, which I can't wait for.
It's not a bad day at all.
Yeah, it'll be awesome. So, all jazzed up for baseball, as you can hear in our voice.
Cannot wait.
And it's right around the corner. We'll have some. Look, the preseason games start soon. These guys got to start signing at some point. I mean, J.D. Martinez didn't sign until February 26th, I think, last year. Something like that. So, we're getting there. It's February 12th.
Big free agent signing just occurred.
Who?
Brett Anderson, 1-year deal to the Oakland Athletics.
That team's.
That might put him over the edge.
That's going to put him right over the top. Game, set, match.
World Series favorites.
There's your Kyler Murray replacement. All right, Mike, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Mikey_DubsNY. And that's Dubs, DUBBS. Also on Instagram at Mike_Wimmers, WIMMERS. And where can they find you at?
On Twitter at JJPix13, JJPIX13. And at John Picarello on Instagram, JON Picarello. It's funny how I always spell John, which is easy, and then I just let him try to figure out Picarello. I'm waiting for hey, we don't know how to spell that.
It's a doozy.
If you need to know how to spell that, hit us up on Twitter or hit us up in the comments or review, rate, share, all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
I'm about to get into some Apex Legends. I don't know about you.
I might do that too. I was going to do some errands today, but fuck that.
Yeah, we had a state of emergency overnight. I don't know why. They canceled my classes for tonight last night, and there's like no snow on the ground.
It didn't even snow. It's not even snowing up here yet.
We've had flurries where it was like a dusting. I could have easily went to class tonight, but you closed the school, so I won't be there. Sorry.
Yeah, fuck it.
All right, people. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for helping us stop the nonsense. We'll be back next week for episode 6.
Yep, next week. See you there.
Latest.